Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are, guys. It's a freestyle. Think what you want us to do, and I'm going to play some music in the meantime until we gather. And then let's figure out what we kind of like want to move forward with for today. It's a fun day. We can do whatever we want. So let's start with some happy music. Hi, Kelsey. Happy Saturday. Thanks, Lorna. Hello, Creative Guru. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Bonjour. Bonjour à tous. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. As I said, today it is. I was thinking Alec Baldwin, but you know what? That's so depressing. I don't know, guys, if you heard about these brutal beatings of this poor guy. I just watched this in the morning. It just like turned my stomach. Dealing with that, so I cannot deal with more murder and etc. So I just really want us to have something positive, something nice. So I just decided kind of like not to do it that way, right? So guys, like today is just you and me, and it's going to be one of those things. I'm also starting a new project, which is creating basically a brand for one kombucha drink, which is going to take lots of my time. So I have to figure out those lives. I'm going to try to keep them as much as possible, but it's going to be times that I have to skip it when I have to attend the events on Saturday. I have to figure out how to go about it, but so far so good. So that is in my world. What else happened here? We had snow and then more snow and then more snow. So it was like 50 centimeters of snow, which is just almost 2 feet. And then we had 10 degrees Celsius. What is 10 degrees? So that will be about 50, 55 Fahrenheit. And everything started to melt and melt and melt. And then you could see this like flood on the street. And you know what was scary? Because they were announcing that overnight we are going to get deep freeze. So that night, after all that melting, which was good because the snow on my roof, I was getting scared. So now it's half of it and everything is glazed over. It's just like one of those ice creams that you see in a deep freeze. You will really have to scratch to get anything, right? So, let me see what we have here. Freestyle. Freestyle, I'm saying like what you guys think we could do, right? Throw in your hat. I usually, when I do these kind of like offhand, when we are not doing it, because I'm changing a format a little bit. So we have monthlies and we have dailies now. So I think weeklies will be just like too much, and it will be just like kind of like monthlies are like a little bit bigger picture. I think weeklies are maybe just too narrow. But you know, I was really thinking more today along the lines to serve you. So all of you who showed up, kind of like to do something for you. So that way people in the future can be more encouraged to do that. How I had a fan appreciation date, that kind of like sort of thing that I'm thinking over here to do it. So Kelsey, kind of like that, instead of like reading for each sign, I would prefer to read for each of you kind of like personally and kind of like thinking that way. So yeah, Barbie, yeah, it was exactly like that. It was bizarre. Let me see, where is my phone? Where the heck did I leave my phone? Where is my phone? Let me bring it. I might have some pictures about it. This is why I have a quiet morning, because the phone is still next to the bed and completely oblivious of all these messages that I'm getting. Okay, let me see if I have anything in the pictures here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it because it's like so much white. Oh yeah, maybe you can see it here. Here you go. Let me see if that's going to show. That is my backyard. And I don't know if you can realize how much snow this is. You can probably see it if you look at here, right? If you can see the accumulation on top and also down. This is like on my little fire kind of like a thing. You can see how much that is of the snow over there. Okay, so let me see now after the melting. Actually, they clean snow rather quickly. So this is kind of like my driveway, and they have already came and removed the snow, and it's still snowing on top of it, as you can see. What else do I have? Do I have after the melt? Come on, after the melt. Oh, this is like when they were cleaning it. So this is still before the melt. Look at this is like 3 feet or even maybe 4 feet snowbanks everywhere, right? So imagine that much snow on the roof. Of course, it makes you a little bit scared. But the same day, okay, so here it is. Is it? No, that's still full of it. Where is the other one? I think I sent it to a friend of mine and said, this is what I'm dealing with. That's what I woke up. Yeah, here it is. So on my porch, look at how much snow it fell. Like, just to give you the idea. That was in the morning. So the same shot in the evening. So this is kind of like how much it melts. So you can even see it there, how actually this receded, right? And now this is the front of the house. Is it going to go? Why doesn't want to go sideways? What happened? Oh, there it is. So see, everything that I was cleaning, like a path, is like now completely melted, and you can see weird. It's almost like kind of like squeezed cloth. So it's just weird. You just like, I just can't wait for this winter to be over and to go somewhere else. So hello, Lynn. So let me see, guys. Are we getting suggestions? You need to participate. Tell me, guys, what you're thinking. What do you kind of like want? Oh, and they also told me that there are actually new level of moderators, and I don't know really how this really works. Yes, there is a managing moderator. So Barbie, I made you a managing moderator for a channel, and I don't know, I think you have a little bit more control about that to remove users, because she is like you don't, nothing goes by Barbie kind of like without anything, right? So okay, guys, you can also choose, do I have this, like, is this right, is this not right? You can also choose the deck. I have more decks, as you have seen, and we can go with this. But like, I really like this one. This looks like stained glass. It's a little bit different because it's round and you never know how it's going to land. This is my Gypsy deck, not exactly the Vera Sibilla, but it's still cute, and it's kind of like widely used in Europe. And this is my Morgan Greer, which is kind of like a different version of Rider Waite, and we can go with that. So as nobody's talking, and you see, like, I have to be leader because it's my channel, but I also like that you guys do stuff. So since nobody's talking, how about if I do a mini reading for all of us here before I go in, because I really want to get your input. So let's just do the live people reading, and it's going to be really interesting that we kind of like affect one person, not another one. So this is really almost like a private reading, but it's like for 7 people. So kind of like, let's do it this way. So let's do it. Please give me messages for people on live. Oh, Kelsey, you give me messages for people on live. You guys are too modest. That's why I love you so much. Oh my God. Like, you know what? I'm so grateful for people who come to this live, because like, you guys feed my energy, and like every single one of you is such a beautiful soul. I just don't know what to say. Okay, my OCD, I'm seeing that this is not exactly straight, so let me just do that before I start being nervous. I see this line. It's not like so you can see how much of OCD I have. Gypsy deck, okay, Barbie has spoken. So, did I move it more? No, I moved it in the wrong direction. So, maybe this way. I'm trying to move it again. It just like takes forever to do it. So let's go. General reading while I'm doing all of that. And go with that. General reading for all of us. Oh, people are leaving us. Somebody doesn't really want a reading. So we have judgment. We have judgment. We have 7 no ones. I made it even worse right now with this, so let me just try to do it the other way while I'm doing this. So then I have death. Look at the majors. Then I have Knight of Rods. We have 10 of Wands. We have 3 of Pentacles, and then we have Fool. So guys, this is kind of like a higher order kind of like reading over here, because it is really telling us a bigger picture here. So this is for all of us. So you have to think about the different aspects of your life And this is really straight on the table. It's really horrible on the video. So I'm just trying to find that sweet spot where it's not bloody messy. Is it like this? And try to figure out one of many kinds of cats. Okay, so this is weird. No, I made it worse this way. How do I do this? Oh, there we go. Something is happening. Did I move it now badly? I think I did. I messed it up again. It's the delay is really messing up with me. You see, I messed it up again. Oh, God. We're getting there. We are getting there. Let me see. Yeah, I messed it up. So I think I'm moving it to the wrong side for some reason, but we will see. So I'm sorry, just give me a second, guys, to figure it out. I thought I had it figured out before I started, but clearly I was like still half asleep, so it didn't happen. So now I moved it to the right and it looks like it's more crooked. Yes, I guess I have to move it to the left to see if I can straighten that one out. So now I moved it to the left. So tell me, guys, how was your week? What kind of weather you have where you are? Like, share some sunshine. There are some people from California. So everybody has some kind of like, oh, there we go. Look at that. Is it it? It is. It is. I did it. I did it. Okay. Well, I can start. It took me 16 minutes to get ready. See, I have slow days. So, we have judgment. We have Seven of Wands. We have death. We have Knight of Rods. We have Ten of Rods reversed. We have Three of Pentacles and have the Fool. So these are the majors over here, and these are minors. From the minors, we have Three Wands. So this is the analytical process, how I actually usually assess things, right? So then another thing, let me add, so this is no number here. So we have a 3, 13, which is almost like death, and 17 is 20, which is judgment. So you can see how basically the same message is keep circulating around. So what it is, it's also interesting that after judgment we have the world, and after the world we have the Fool. So we can see, and also these two are also very scorpionic, kind of like affected the Pluto influence, meaning going really deep, looking very hard of some sort. So first of all, there is like some kind of judgment. Judgment is clearly separation of the good and bad. We have all in our lives good and bad people. We have good and bad issues. We have good and bad bosses. We have good and bad partners. We have good and bad family, friends, family members, friends. So this is really talking about now releasing certain things. Maybe certain things are not that important. Maybe we are just realizing that maybe we have been too intense, right? The judgment over there, to me, it is a karma card, and whenever this is my invention, by the way, this is like not some other reader kind of like a thing, because I have found which 5 cards kind of like work for me, that I feel they have a little bit stronger meaning than the other cards. So for me, these are the judgment, justice, wheel of fortune, world. And world is like not fully kind of karma card, is because something has to be happening right as we speak. And also I picked the Ace of Swords, and these are like mine cards that I'm kind of like looking for everything in the reading. So for example, if somebody asks me, is this like my soulmate, then I really can determine that, especially my relationship readings and X readings cannot do it. So this is talking about a period of reflection and self-evaluation, maybe some kind of like meditation, or just being on your own can really help. This is talking about opening yourself up to some kind of like new possibility, and it's like really new awakening. That's kind of like what this card really means. It suggests that we have reviewed and maybe evaluated past experiences and we have learned from them, right? So, maybe we have been going through a rocky road and had some kind of like really deep wounds, both literal and metaphorical, and that are now able to confront any unfinished business in life, right? So we will kind of like feel right now like if the all 7 or 8 of us cleansed of our previous sins or wrongdoings, mistakes, and we will finally be released from those shackles and guilts and sorrows from the past. So this is like a purging process over here, and we really know what works, what doesn't work, and that's why we have this like 701. 701 says, you know what, I have earned to be a winner, and I'm not letting you wear this hat. This is what it is. Yeah, looks like cutting certain things off. Certain things cannot stay anymore, and the death is that kind of like a process. It's the upright. So the actually flower is opening, not closing, which means that we need to maybe cut certain things in order to let other things grow. So that could mean that, in order to think, we are thinking long-term goals and a short-term goal. So something is maybe really irritating us, we need to talk about it, but you also feel if you do, it can really go wrong, and you can really maybe, I don't know, make a faux pas. So instead you're saying, you know what, like for now, I'm keeping this in my kind of like pocket, but I'm going to talk about it when the time is ready. Almost looks like somebody is either aggressive or like Knight of Rods is like the one night fling. Somebody who comes and who is like really interesting. We allow this person to kind of like come in and out of our life because they are so interesting, right? But they generally damage us because they are really not having a staying power, right? We want to keep them, and this is literally one of those stories. You know how they say that if you catch a bird, release it, and it comes back to you, it wants you, otherwise it kind of like never belonged to you. So that's kind of like one of these situations that we are really dealing here with, right? So it is very important to kind of like understand who is this person in your life, or maybe it could be a process that you're allowing time after time after time, that certain things are really repeating. So who is this, or what is it that is really happening over here, right? Be very aware of that, because while the moment is going to make you really happy with this 9 of Wands, it can actually have a long-term consequences, such as frustration and getting nowhere, and why am I doing to myself? Even maybe you can feel angry, and you might feel, worst of all, that you're denied what should be coming to you, right? And hence that can lead to kind of like loss of self-esteem and pessimism, right? That's also making us act a little bit impulsively, reactively, impatiently. So kind of like this is a warning, right? That's the only card that is a warning, because this reverse card is actually good. You know how in tarot some people, oh, I don't want you to kind of like interpret inverse cards. Well, I do that. So what is like this 10 of Wands doing? Like what is he doing? Would you recommend anybody to carry the wands and the sticks like that, where he cannot see what is ahead of him? He probably cannot even hold them properly. Maybe they are too heavy. Maybe they have the little kind of like thing sticking out. And he is just exhausted, and he is a little lazy, so he's not willing to go again. This talks about our burdens and talks about how sometimes it's hard for us to move ahead because we have this blocked view, and that we kind of like in our head think more of us than we actually do. When this reverses, then we are talking about releasing burdens, realization that not everything can go forward, which is now reiteration of this card, and that we really have to figure out. So these two cards, as I said, actually are 13, 3 and 10, which is the death. So this is really giving us almost like notes. Well, you know what? There is like this new kind of like revival, and this is kind of like what you need to do. So you need to let go of certain things, and you're going to actually be very relieved to do that. This is also the card can actually represent secrets, and now you just don't want a secret. If somebody's secretive, I cannot tell you, oh, you know, don't worry about that. You're not going to go for that BS anymore. This is it. Like, you know what? Transparency is the key over here. And you are really, we are all really right now focusing on rebuilding. And this is a really good card. This is one of those rare cards that the lower number is actually really good. So it's relating to Eight of Pentacles, but this one talks about the expertise, where you're good at, being methodical, and taking a leap on that, going in that direction. So this is what is really important, right? We are now realizing that maybe going fast, because wands are fast. Wand is basically being on a horse and riding the horse. And pentacles are, okay, well, let me think what I'm doing today. You know, it's the stone you're chiseling. So you just make a wrong move, off it goes, the whole project. You cannot glue it back. So it's kind of like going slower and very precise, right, in this situation. But the Fool, and look at that, we have the rose repetition here, right, that he has now. So he did cut it off here, which is really interesting, because here, severing a rose is like we all go, but we are doing that because we are letting the others kind of like boom through. Very much unlike what I did to my veggie garden. I got this veggie garden last year and now repeated the orders, which was just bad customer service. And then they sent me a what do you call it? Food, right? The food for plants, which was like in a baby bottles, not the big bottles that I used to get. So I just poured it like the way I did, like, and I wrote to them like, why? What's with the baby bottles? Like, I mean, you just sent me basically 1/3 of. Oh, it's concentrated, so no wonder that all the plants started to die. It just, oh, what a disaster. But the Fool goes, you know what? I'm dusting myself off. I'm moving forward. There's a little doggo. Doggo always represents actually negativity. It's the society that wants to bite you, that is telling you how to do things, is trying to direct you. But look, he is kind of like really focused on the vision, and almost like this kind of like looks like testicles, isn't it? Look at my dirty mind over here. That is really going forward. But the Fool is, oh, and I had a love-hate relationship with that card for such a long time. I first really didn't like it, right? But here, letting go this person here who is fickle, who could be having somebody else, who is just not interested in anything else in life than experiences. And that's why they are kind of fun, because you're feeling, okay, well, I really don't have a competition, but there is a competition which is everything. Oh, the flower interests me. Oh, the door interests me. Oh, look at the car. Look, it's just like, it's a person who did gain lots of experiences, but they are kind of like really doing it. This is their life path, so there is like really not much to do about it, right? It's the person who can be really interesting because of the depth. But then we have this Fool, and that's somebody who is unforgettable, but it's also unconventional, like this person. Mind you, air and fire, keep in mind, ladies, if this is like something you're thinking about the romance, then you need to know that we air and fire, we need a little bit more from a person in order to stay. It's not like water and pentacles. When they decide, earth signs or water signs, they have a staying power. For us, we really, like air signs, need intellectual talked into. We need to figure out, like, and I'm pretty sure, like, ask Barbie, she's a Libra, she will not be sticking around me if she doesn't get intellectual stimulation. It's just like, we no way, Jose. And fire signs would not be sticking if there's like not enough energy, if there's not enough motion. And hence, because we are fast, we move all the time, it's like a wind, you don't find a leaf always on the same spot. So more or less, people who come into our life, we expect them to move with us, and we are more than willing to take them for a ride. So that taking them for a ride together, kind of like there's some kind of discovery of the playful things, like even side of the love, and somebody who really wants to have fun and wants really us to have a really good experience, right? So what else? But it also can be somebody who is very naive and gullible to the point that you're thinking, you're not for real, really. Like, it was like one episode of Seinfeld, and I reference often to Seinfeld, I'm aging myself, but Elaine had that boyfriend and something always good was happening to him. She was like, this is not normal, this is not happening to me, and he just couldn't believe it, because these are the only experiences he had. That's very similar to Fool over here, right? Because he's usually portrayed here as just like here, like a wild youth dancing and, at the edge of the precipice, like ready to step off the edge, right? But keep in mind, because I'm reading this just for our group over here, that this is really message to us that in living life as the Fool, we have a more direct inner connection with the universe and universal energies, which we do know that all of you here are very spiritual. And it kind of like, it might feel that we are just born again. We are feeling life for the very first time. It's almost like, oh, how long was I sleeping, right? We want to explore different approaches, right, to spirituality, and just kind of like to see the fit. It's that exploration, if you kind of like really wish. But what is really interesting here is the combination of these kind of like two cards, right? Which this one is rebirth, even though it's called death, it's rebirth. But Judgment and Fool, when they combine, this goes ta-da. Yes, you release the sins, you are aware what's wrong, you're aware what is right, and now it's kind of like the dawning of the new possibility of personal transformation. So guys, I'm really, really happy to report that like, I mean, you never know, like, because it's just a group reading right now. Good morning, Andy. And like, we are making such a great group of people. I can see that nobody fears transformation. People here don't like status quo. Like, I mean, you kind of like are willing to put your foot down when you have to. And all of you are really proud about what you do. You're really proud and stand behind what you like and what you want to do. So that is very, very important, right? So that is kind of like going in a new direction. Let me see if you guys had any comments. My poor plants. I know, Creative Guru. Oh, I should probably start going back on my Instagram. I kind of like took some time off because I was just getting annoyed that I'm doing it in a very commercial way, and that's not what I wanted. So instead of doing that, I start dailies here. Uh, Andy, every kitty needs a pretty mane. That's true. It really has been lots of things being rushed and people not explaining the changes going on. Like that small bottle, they act like you should just know. Yes, that's exactly it. Like, I found this guy on HGTV. I'm so freaking addicted to him. It's not only his, it's HGTV Handmade. I'm going to tell you what his name is. Rajit, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. Because he's showing how to do book binding. He's showing how to do ironing. And like, for me, it's like, and I believe I told you about him, because he is really not cutting any corners over here. So let me see videos. Okay, his name is Rajiv Surendra. Let me see. Life Skills with Rajiv. It's freaking amazing. He's from Toronto, but he lives in New York right now. So here we go. I'm going to post his name if anybody wants. It is AGTV. Homemade, I believe. Is it? Let me just double check. If anybody wants to, it's just to relax. Yeah, handmade, pardon me, handmade. Same thing, right? So that's kind of like what is really, really interesting. So let me see. Let me catch up. Good morning, Jenny. Nice to see you. Barbie goes, Andy Air sticks around, but don't slack. No playing with me. Exactly. I was in town getting breakfast before the house wakes up. Yo, that's good. Apple fritters, love it. Creative girl, and for the last little while, it's like no one cares to do things accurately. Yes, this is it. Like, like I was just, I have neighbors who continuously my Amazon packages are delivered to them. So I went to buy the wrapping paper and got them a little kind of like candy box. And then I realized, oh my gosh, like this wrapping paper, it's such a cliche. So I actually created almost like something out of that paper and was spending time doing all of these edges of wrapping it. So I just like was so proud of me that this is kind of like done a little bit differently, right? So that's really interesting. So guys, take a look at him. Really, it's something, but they used to have a Renaissance man, and that's kind of like what it is. I want to be him when I grow up, kind of a thing. So, do I need to clarify anything here? I don't think so. So, I hope everybody found what they need to get out of this, because that is basically reflecting to you. No secrets, be very transparent, hold your crown, as I call it. Do not let somebody that you are worst or like just you know who you are. You don't need to argue, even though you'll have to deflect and tell somebody to back off. That's clearly also a message. Certain things need to be cut off. So maybe you need to think about long-term growth versus immediate. Be careful of the people who are very flaky. And I would just advise avoid them altogether. Sure, they're interesting, but let them go somewhere else, because after we are dealing with our own realization that not everything can be done in a day, and we are kind of focusing on that methodical long-term goal, oh my god, there's like something really, really nice opening up over here, and I really like it, right? So yeah, he's an Indian guy, I think. So that's really interesting. So let me just put this back. So good thing though, like that you put your foot down, but just stick to it. We can put our foot down by being very nice. It's just like say, I know for me, I can tell you really what's going on. I have to do the project is marketing for one kombucha company, and they are doing, oh my gosh, such a good job. This is all done with solar energy. It is like no preservatives whatsoever, right? But there are like issues. Issues are that this guy's getting the owner who invested $3 million in it and still didn't lift it off the ground. He is crazy about the graphic designer he has, and I think he's horrible. So I did give few suggestions, and I was teaching design at University of Toronto. I have it in my little finger, but this guy basically said, oh, she's just a beginner in design. This guy, I can tell he's not even a designer. He's a photographer that has learned a little bit of Photoshop. And it was really sad to hear anything like that, because clearly I saw what he made it as a logo, which was just a clip art. That sun clip art that has the little kind of like triangles on the side. It's just like, really? You want to create a multi-million-dollar business? So I have to speak up, so as you can see from the reading, but also have to think maybe kind of like eliminating him in a much better way than going in a confrontation of some sort. So that's really interesting. So Andy, did you not say you're getting rid of, where did I read that? I thought I did it. That you're getting rid of the Gemini? Where did I see that? Oh my gosh. Am I imagining this? I'm just not seeing. Yeah, that's a different judgment card, because that's the Morgan Greer, right? Oh, you kind of like did see Christelle. Oh my gosh, he's really, really good. I think like he got his own show on AGTV, right? Oh, you're following him. Okay, cool. Let's see, Andy. I have a Leo dude who is overstepping a bit, being nice by setting boundaries. Yeah, you are like that combination of Capricorn and Scorpio. Leo can. So, Scorpio wants to go deep, Capricorn wants to go high, and Leo wants to shine. It's just like it's not a good fit for you. Like, Leo is very specific, very advanced. Leo is like so monogamous and it gives you everything, gives you their big heart. But when Leo and many men Leos can be babies, as we know, like all their lives, it's difficult. We women, we pass that stage of being shown as super skinny, super young, super healthy. We want to be accepted the way we are. And like we're just tired of basically battering somebody else's ego. Am I right? Am I not right on this one? Right? So that's kind of like what it is. So Andy, let's start with you and just see what we need to do it. And Lorna is going to be promised myself that starting this year, I'll set my boundaries at work will not be good for you. Discovering dating again, yay! And creative, everyone else was saying I should have not warned my ex, but I really felt like I had to be honest about what would happen. Can hang himself if he chooses a creative guru. We would sit down and have a drink and laugh our heads off. It just would be funny. Okay, let's go with Andy. Just weird. It's just like it really kind of like emotionally affected me. That's why I'm starting with you. So we have 8 of what they call it, staves, I guess, wands, 8 of wands, which kind of like are some love messages. It's probably that Leo that is wooing you, and when they woo you, they are very amorous. The moment when they think they have you, they just drop you like a hot potato and just like think this is kind of like just normal. Here you go, you have the karma card, but look at that. That would lead to freaking disaster. 3 of swords. So what do I have? So yeah, you have the same card. Look at that. It's repeated with the 7 of wands. You do have a 10 of cups though. So certain things kind of like do look promising. Like it looks like there are lots of kind of like emotional things, and you are maybe saying to yourself here, gee, am I doing the right thing? And he is trying, like that's what I'm seeing here, and he is freaking promising the sun and the moon and the universe and who knows what, right? But it doesn't look like he's the choice, because maybe this is you who is brokenhearted, or it is him. There's like something going on that somebody is not really going forward with complete clarity, because that's why the Ace of Swords steps in and he goes, you know what, like just like King Arthur legend, it always, whenever I see this card, it has like such a huge kind of like motion. Also the sword in stone, you have to have a big heart to really open it up. So somebody has to be really right. Also, what is really important with the swords is like they have 2 edges. So it's not only the outside environment that we need to affect, we need to do some cleanse within ourselves, and that is what is very, very important. Yeah. So Andy, that's what it is, like, I mean, he is putting his 2 cents here. I don't see Scorpio anywhere. This guy is really amorous, but he's going to eventually give up, unless this is a Scorpio, because it is the only cups, and Scorpio is a really, really good fit for you, just superficially kind of like going through it. Srini, hi, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, they're a little bit different. Round is always giving like this accommodation to me. I kind of really, really like that. Christelle says it was sweet and gentle, but Scorpionic energy as well. I know Scorpio is like all or nothing. So, who is next? Now I want to go with Barbie and see what we get there. Oh, this one was also flicked. Like really different, right? Like with these cards. So whole bunch of degrees that are happening, kind of like a little bit harder to shuffle, but nothing is impossible. Oh, Barbies. I know it's really different, right? I don't want to hurt his feelings, but he's coming on way too strong. So you just need to tell him, listen, dude, it's too much too fast. And that's what Leo is. That's the wand energy. You see, like when I'm talking about his energies that weak and wands and air overwhelm people, like we scare the shit out of people, pardon my language, right? So that's what it is. And unless you're another air or another wand, you're like it's almost like you open the door and the wind kind of like gets you. It's like, whoa, like I just cannot take it, right? It's not for everybody. So if you're earth, if you're water, you want it slower, you want a growth. But if somebody's really slow for air or fire, we're like, okay, I'm watching the paint dry, I cannot do it, cannot do it. Let's do the Barbie girl. Barbie, we are getting few. So you're having a 6 of swords. Ooh, you are having justice. So that is your karma card. But you have 8 of swords. Look at that. They're all air. Like you are in your head. So there we go. Barbie is Libra. And there we have the Hermit. We have 4 of Wands. We have 8 of Pentacles. And then we have 3 of Wands. It's really all good, Barbie, except 8 of Swords. This is like the moment of doubt of some sort. So I do see your legal proceedings over here. I do see that you're maybe a little bit withdrawn, thinking about yourself for yourself. Maybe you already have some planned things done for the future. You are aware of which things you need to leave behind you, right? That's what the 6 of Swords, because look at that. Look at these troubled waters over here, but they are not on this side. So this is just travel over, no more hardship, right? You don't know if it's going to be better, but you're keeping all of your fingers and toes crossed and saying, you know what, it just cannot be worse. I just need to try something else, change of scenery, something like that. Maybe it's even indicating some sort of move or travel of some sort. The 8 of Swords, and let me see, like, what do we have in this picture? So there is a person. It's almost like I couldn't tell for a moment because of all of these kind of like fractures. Just looks like a castle, but could be seen as a whole bunch of like, beer cans if you really kind of like just glance at it, right? So I thought initially that it was like the big heart over here, right? But then I saw the head here. So she is blindfolded, all tied to it, right? But she's not even trying. It's kind of like reminds me of these Middle Eastern countries where they put you in jail. You're not even putting an effort in kind of like trying to break free. So 8 of Swords always carries this message that, you know what, you're the problem. You cannot accept the situation. You have to challenge the situation. So do not, because you're doing it here, but then you feel, okay, you didn't get huge improvement, and because of that you're giving up. No. You still have to stick to it because you are projected to succeed everywhere. The Hermit is knowing what you want. The 3 of Wands is like moving ahead with your projects. The 8 of Pentacles, make sure you check every detail, you read the contract, and here is the success. There is like something moving forward, and I really have to tell you, this is going to be relatively quick. Where is this? Look at that. Can you see this? Can you see this? You see this? It's here. It's identical. It's absolutely identical. Except here you felt your hands are tied. There is like no access. And here, look, everything is green. Everything is really working out. And so, I don't know, 4 weeks to 4 months. This is not going to be that very, very far. And this is mirroring justice. I really like this reading because it's very realistic. It's not all flowery because it's telling you have to deal with your own fears and limitations. Think positive, think big. You have to think big picture and things will happen with that, right? So just keep this in mind, right? So that would be Barbie. Give me your feedback, would be great. Crystal, yeah. you're happy in Scorpio. Look at you and Andy will should be best friends over here because you would totally understand each other completely. So let me see what else. Who do I get next? I'll get Creative Guru next over here and see what happens. He can choose to feel hurt or not. No reasonable person wants to be someone who is not interested in going forward with them. Well, you have the people, I'm just mulling it over if this is true. You do have people who really believe they can woo us and they can, especially men. Honestly, you know what bothers me is like that the marketing tells them that if they do certain things like those, what they call them, pickup artists, that they have to insult you because if they put your ego down, you'll be very happy with them. That just doesn't work on me. Like if they do it once, they literally, I am on the first taxi or they are on the first taxi out because that's the end of the story. Like some respect has to be there, right? So yeah, some men really overstay their welcome, and some women, many women actually overstay their welcome. They just don't understand that things are not going to move in a good direction, right? So I think it's going to go that way. Barbie, that's the way it needs to be. Like, awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. And you know that you can always contact me and we can talk about it more. Wink, wink, right? Okay, Creative Guru. Let's see what I have here. I have to unlock my feet because I always, when I read, I don't want anything to cross, just to make sure that the energy is directed properly. So you have the Magician. Creative Guru, you have 6 of Wands. You have 9 of Wands. Ooh, you have Strength. So, and also you have the Star, which is almost like a Strength, just a little bit higher. So look at these 3 majors. You have 3 of Pentacles, and you have Justice. Oh my gosh, you have 4 majors. Air, 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 and fire. You are Scorpio, aren't you, Creative Guru? I'm just trying to remember what is your ascendant. Do you have any legal process or something that you feel that you have been very slighted? You're going through divorce or something, right? You are kind of like coming through as a winner. This is a winner card, and this is somebody who is really injured, but this is like a sign of victory. He's saying, you know what? You're not going to kill my spirit. I'm moving forward. 3 of Pentacles is like the teamwork of some sort, something really happening. The Magician is somebody who has resources and he's resourceful as a person. So maybe you have somebody who is consulting. This is ruled by Mercury. So it is all about communication. So these could be lawyers. It could be any kind of like help or aid or need, and somebody who is really, really capable, who can just like make things succeed. This is about a commitment, but these two can talk about either marriage or divorce. But since it's your reading, the outcome is going to be the way you want it. So that's where it's really important. And then the Star, Strength is 8 and Star is 17. So 1 and 7 is 8. So that's why I always say that when you have the opposite signs like Leo and Aquarius, in this particular case, it's the same axis. So you have a Leo and Aquarius, you're kind of like working on the same. So it's going to be turbulence if the other side is affected. So you come to Leo, and when you come to the next life, many stages after, then you try to work as Aquarius, because as a Leo, you need to figure out your ego. You need to work your ego. You need to expose yourself. You need to crave attention of the others. When you work as Aquarius, you are less important. The stars of the show are you, not me, right? So you need to kind of transfer that ego to humanity, that you serve the humanity. So that's the higher lesson, which is hard if you're living in a society that just wants you to be drum, like, I mean, just like, what do you call it? Just like beat your own drum all the time. It's just annoying, right? The justice is being served. Like, I mean, there's like some expertise which I'm connecting it over here. Look at the Six of Wands is the victory. It's kind of like declaring victory. And that's something happening really, really fast. Maybe within 6 weeks, 6 to 9 weeks, I would say, something is going on. There are like four majors. There's like a major shift in your life. This is a karma card that is happening over here. So, you came to this life with something from the past life, something that hasn't been finished, and now you're clearing it. You're saying, no more, this is it. I learned this lesson. It took a while. I needed the collaboration from the others, but it's over. Now I have to do it this way. That's what is really, really important over here. So, hope this helps. Let me know what you think. So let me just see. Justice is perfect. Saji, yeah, totally go BS. So that's what I'm saying. No, no, no. So this is the fire. This is the Sagittarius coming through over here. And you have a fire and air is really good. And like kind of like this Three of Pentacles is gluing everything together. So that's what's happening. Get a lawyer to take things to the Colorado Supreme. Oh, shoot. Oh my God. That's for sure. Oh, Aries rising. Oh my God. Like if she wants somebody, like, I mean, just watch it kind of a thing. And Aqua Moon is keeping you very rational. That's really, really good, right? So I also wish you really, really the best with this. And this looks really positive. So Andy, my neighbor, she's my neighbor, believe it or not. Like if she just gets in a car and drives here, she will be here in the next few minutes. How is that for being close, huh? Kind of a thing. But for some of you, I contact you on WhatsApp and we are close with digital tools. So Andy, you're next. Let me see. Let me just do the good shuffle first. You're welcome, Creative Guru. You're welcome. So Andy. You have Ace of Pentacles. So there is like your Capricorn. There's like a new beginning. You just don't want anything that is like, ooh, you have a death. That's your Scorpio. So you don't want anything that is like flimsy. You don't want anything that is like wobbly. You're saying, you know what? Maybe it's going to take longer, but I want to build something that's very long term. And you're really willing to cut through things that are dying, that are dead, that you know they're dead, and so that's why the death is really showing up over here. So, and then and there it is, also kind of like some kind of like moving to the next stage. We have a Knight of Pentacles. Look at that. There is like also big, like what are the chances that, oh my gosh, the three cards, and I kind of like shift this. This is almost like I'm having a goosebumps right now because not all, I don't put them in together. I don't know if you guys notice, I'm always kind of like putting them inside as I'm putting it, but like I think you got three identical cards over here. Oof. I'm having like really goosebumps over that, except like they're a little bit different interpretation in this communication, which is really, really important, right? Because look at that. This is moving it forward and succeeding. Like you are going to feel something is really important. But there is like another message that you're getting. And like these are these three cards, like two of them are majors. Death card is, you know what? Like, I mean, it's time not to read another chapter, but close that book and move into another book and read it that way. The Hermit talks about feeding your own soul. What is like your North Star? Where are you going? And then the Knight of Pentacles, which I always see as an Aquarius. And that's the friends. Who are your friends? You need their support because they can tell you if you're on the right path. And it's really important. So that consistency, so this is the earth. And that will be your, like this is Virgo, but it's still earth. And this is your Scorpio, which is kind of like what is your generic makeup if you really think about it. But with a little bit of spicy kind of like thing in it, that you feel you're really successful, that you feel something is going on. So you're going to have some short-term success, but you have your mind on something really, really long term, and you really want to go in that direction. So that is really important for you. So I hope this helps, madam. So this new Scorpio, being blunt with him, he's taking it. Oh, don't be too blunt. Like Scorpio likes mystery. It's better to kind of like just have this mischievous smile with Scorpio than being blunt, right? And one good thing about Scorpio lovers, guys, wink wink, is like they make it all about you. That's not bad, huh? So that's nice. So who else I didn't do? So I want you guys to raise your hands. Who is here? Lorna H, are you still here? Christelle, you're going to go next if you're still here. Lynn, are you still here? Kelsey, are you still here? Guys, you need to say something. And so I know who do I do the mini reading for. So let me just see. Christelle and Jenny. Yes, thank you. Christelle, are you here, madam? What is this? Chelsea, do we know you? What was that? Now, what's her name? Hi, Chelsea. Good to see you. Welcome. I don't remember you from before, so tell us a little bit about you. Hi, ECAT. Oh, look at that. Christelle didn't say anything. So, guys, I'm not going to read if you're not here. It doesn't make any sense. So that's the whole idea. Lorna, are you here? Like anybody who I called, please, guy, you have to say something. Lorna, Kelsey, whoever I didn't do it, you guys need to say something. ECAT is here. I can see that. So Barbie's giving me the things. There you go. Nobody. You guys are going to regret it next time. I really have to tell you this, right? And just go with this. Hi with everybody. So, Lorna, where is... Oh, Lorna. Sorry, Lorna. Lorna, we are going with you then. Thank you, Creative. I just missed this one. Lorna. Hi, Wisconsin. Good to see you. Like, we have lots of Americans here. What kind of weather do you have there? So cool that you are here. So, and Kelsey's here. Okay. Lorna, you have death as well. But you have a Hierophant as well. And then we have Knight of Vessels. And this is like some romantic time. Like, please give me, you're Gemini, right? If I remember well. This is really interesting. Are you planning some kind of like marriage? Are you planning some vows? There is like some really seriously important thing happening. Like this is a really interesting combination, right? Because one is like deep emotions, another one is like we need to make it right kind of a thing together, right? So it is. Chelsea, this is kind of like what we have here as well in New Brunswick. It's better than it was a few days ago, but it is what it is. So, okay, so let's see. You have like these two major arcanas, which are really interesting. And then you have the Ten of Cups. And tens are very similar to pages and aces, in my opinion. So that's kind of really interesting. So what I would say for you is like there is like a strong feeling that I'm experiencing here that you want to finish some cycle, or you're finishing some cycle. Because Page of Wands is like a Flash Gordon. It's like moving really quickly, right? You also have the Knight of Vessels, which kind of like is maybe a choice between the two things. This could be a child, somebody who is very active or hyperactive of some sort, who maybe needs a little bit of kind of like encouragement to be more solid. And it's really even giving, like this could be a family. I don't know if you have a family. This can really talk about the family, love, and sitting together and working things together, which this also can indicate the family help, or, you know, doing things like with much kind of like not like you must do it because I say so, but sort of like with the higher moral standards. The Hierophant is always kind of like working from your higher self, but there are also rules. Somebody is kind of like establishing rules, and those are very like, so this is like, if you think about Taurus and Scorpio, they're also the same axis. So it could be mother and father, and they're working in conjunction, they are working together. It is kind of like something that actually does move forward over here. So I would say, if you're looking for somebody, so you have no children, okay, so this is not a child, so that could be two different possibilities for you in partners if you're looking for somebody. So one is very romantic, another one is like trying to do things. Somebody, one could be younger than you as well. It could be even three possibilities, but I kind of like feel this guy is this. It's somebody, and this is the thing, like everybody talks about how women like roses and candies, but that's not for air sign. Like roses and candies are, okay, fine, like, but if you kind of like bring these two Ferrero, the smallest package of Ferrero Rocher, and you kind of like have a very special wrapping, this is like way more interesting kind of a thing. And somebody is really trying to woo you here. There is like emotional impact over here. And it's simply telling me that there's like something that is being placed in order and something really has to do it. So maybe that's what, maybe your coworkers, oh yeah. Do you have somebody who is like really, maybe even obnoxious? They're just keeping busy for the sake of being busy. I have a neighbor like that. He's not obnoxious by any means. I love him. He's 81 years old. But that guy always works something. You know what I like the most in the summer? I lie down in my hammock and I do nothing. I just sleep or read a book or listen to a podcast. And he is either planting or digging or cleaning. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm just getting tired watching this kind of a thing. So I love flowers, but they won't win my heart. Exactly. They better be potted flowers so they are not killed and murdered and somebody's given something dead or dying. It's just like that got into my head. I cannot take Christmas trees being killed anymore at all. So this is overall good. Just like I would suggest that you will need to severe something over here. This is always a very strong and strict card, that you need to let go of something in order to, and you need to take the high ground, very high ground. So somebody's going to be very mushy, somebody's going to be a little bit too much to handle. Overall, I can see harmony, and overall, I advise you to look at the details, and that's going to be very important. Christelle is back. Bonjour Christelle. I don't know if I can read it in French. Mon français n'est pas très bien comme ça, mais je vais essayer de te parler. Et c'est peut-être une nouvelle méthode pour moi. That's my practice of my French for today. So let's see, Christelle. C'est important pour l'autre d'aussi écoute ces reading, comme on dit en reading. So, alors, c'est parti. C'est Christelle. So, Queen of Swords. Ooh, Christelle. Queen of Swords. There you go. You have the world. Something is happening as it is right now. So what is happening? It's you. You are cutting crap from your life. You're just saying no more. I am not letting things happen. And Queen of Swords is somebody who has been hurt so many times. So she did raise like Phoenix from that hurt, and she did say, you know what? I have been hurt and I was hurting others for such a long time. And now, you know what? Like, I mean, I'm going to be really quickly in my judgment, but I will not raise the sword if it's not really exactly necessary. But she reacts to injustice, which is really, really important for her. Je ne sais pas, Andy. Merci beaucoup, mais j'ai besoin de pratique beaucoup. Okay, so let's go here. Ooh. Look at that. We are having this group moment here. You know what I would love, and probably they're going to come to the technology soon. I need one more. where we actually have the virtual reality sitting together. Wouldn't that be fun that we kind of have the table and we are all sitting and we all having our own coffees versus like this flat 2D? Like that would be so much better. All right, so you have a Queen of Swords, you have the World, you have the Ten of Cups, you have the Seven of Wands, which we did have in a general reading, which talks about, no, 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 I know who I am. You're not going to tell me. I have worked really hard to be here, to kind of have my peace, to have my success. I'm not letting you, absolutely not letting you. And look at that. You have a both Queen and King of Swords. There is like some kind of a ruling. You want somebody who is equal, who is fair, who understands you, who understands all of your words. If something really bothers you, you don't want to be with somebody who is going to poke into that. Isn't this weird? Like, I mean, I remember once I had one of those dates with a guy, and so I told him I have cats. I think I had 3 cats at that time, and he spent most of the time telling me how much he hates cats. So I figured, okay, he really hates this date, and he kind of like is trying to be passive aggressive. And then when it was the time to say goodbye, like I guess good for him that I didn't just kind of like got up and leave. Because of, oh, I would love to see you again. I'm really interested in you. Really, dude? Like you were so freaking inappropriate. You had no social skills. Like that's really, really faux pas. I just don't really want to do it at all, right? So I'm gonna say merci. You guys are so cute, but like I mean, you know, I need to be told to kind of like improve, not to get a praise where I know it's still far, far behind. So you're not letting anybody give. You're not letting anybody putting you down. You're also very sweet at the same. Like this is like a really beautiful reading. I really have to tell you, there is like realization. You know how we had Fool, like which is coming after the World. You need to feel before you have to start something else. You need to feel fulfilled, and that is happening for you as we speak. The following year for you is going to be extremely important. You are going to be challenging yourself on different levels, on a physical level where you live, on a mental level what you process. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have been there when I was presenting her beautiful aquarelle or watercolors as we call it here. She's starting a business, and like her paintings are just beautiful. What I would advise Christelle, and I don't know why this is coming to me, just like it was something I've seen, wallpapers. You can actually do handmade wallpapers as well with the prints that you are doing. Not handmade, watercolor wallpapers. She does this beautiful flowers in watercolors. So this is talking about pulling it together. 10 of Vessels can mean a special one and feeling a connection. But at the same time, even though for a while you're enjoying flirting and something, you're still very guarded. You're still not letting certain things happen. In fact, you're cutting things off. So you have made a decision, or this could be simply that you're telling yourself this is what they want, and you're keeping it as a high goal, and like you're really cutting like weeds. Like you know this like story of Snow White, how she fell asleep and how the prince had to go and cut through all these rose bushes full of thorns to go and walk through. So this is what these guys do. They're like cleaning the path for something that maybe looked impossible, or something that just, you know, everybody said it's not going to happen, but like you're just doing that, and it's going to be really, really kind of like going in a good direction. You guys have to understand how good she is. She's really, really, really good. She should actually, you know what, get an Instagram. If you have an Instagram, just post your handle here so people can join. So who is next? I did you. So Lynn, you're next. Lynn, bonjour. The French sounds good. As far as I can tell, some family who speak French, they teach us all a little. Oh, that's very sweet. here, I find, like, I don't know what is Andy's situation. They speak with a different accent, very different, which is really hard to understand. And I'm trying to learn French from France because I just love their accent. I can just listen to it and melt. So I have a French tutor, and I'm trying to kind of like get my courage to kind of like speak to Christelle on a regular basis. So, you know, maybe you can exchange English and French. So, because I still kind of struggle looking for the words, but more or less I can kind of like wing it. So, who did I say that I'm doing? Lynn. I'm doing Lynn. Lynn. Oh, they're called batik? Oh, I heard a word, but batik, I thought this is a material. That's kind of like what we call them in Croatia. So, what do we have, Lynn, here? We have the moon. We have Page of Stoves. We have Seven of Vessels. You have the Karma card here as well, and that's Ace of Swords. You have a Six of Swords. You have Three of Pentacles, and I want to get one more for the center. And you have a Queen of Pentacles. I feel you are this Queen of Pentacles. I do know you're Leo, and the Leo, like generally representation is a Queen of Wands. But I feel you are this resourceful queen. I also see myself as Queen of Pentacles, even though technically I should be Queen of Swords. But Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is resourceful, who likes comfort, who likes to surround themselves with beautiful things. And because sometimes she doesn't have money to buy all the best, so she does things herself, and she puts lots of love in things that really surround her. So that is really really nice, like moving forward, right? So there is like you being a center of your own world. Like there is like some kind of like a little bit of dreamy kind of like attitude, which we know that you're a singer and artist, and that dreamy goes with the territory, and this is talking about the dreams. Whenever I see moon, I think about movies, and I don't know, for you, somehow Hollywood flashed in front of my eyes. So look into that. There is a connection, and there is like something that you need to find out there. So there is like this urge to do things, kind of like maybe even rush things. But there is also indecision at the same time, which is the Seven of Vessels. Deciding what you want is a part of moving forward. It's going to be really important in your situation, right? So expertise, you need to stress your expertise. And this is like this new beginning, and it's either a travel or relocation. It's really talking about, this is also very swift motion. So look at, these are swift and the others are slow. So this is kind of like sometimes like maybe you have bursts of energy. It's almost like that bipolar energy, right? Sometimes they just like, you're like a little dynamo, and then you just cannot do anything for a while. It just kind of goes up and down. So this is really interesting to me because that talks about making a decision and acting upon it, and doing it with possibly contract in hand, still not knowing how things are going to end up. So if you're thinking in that terms, that's definitely doable. And you need to stress your experience. You need to stress your drama skills, that kind of like probably would be connected with personality, and you're selling not only on your skill but on the personality. And they like something moody and dreamy, and these colors are also coming to me: purple, yellow, blue, and green. It's something going to be really magical about that. So it's just kind of like being able to transfer, like being a singer, you transfer this emotionality, right, in all of that, and that is really important. And this is kind of like moving over troubled waters. So whatever kind of like represented difficulties, now it's the clearing, and it's happening, and you need to kind of like give yourself a chance in order to do that. So very, very important. So who is next? Jenny. Jenny is next, my dear. She's still there. Still there. Like, there we go. Let's mix them a little bit. Hopefully that helped. Christelle, nous allons parler. Je vais t'appeler. Merci. C'est très bien. On verra, n'est-ce pas? Comme je parle en téléphone. So let's see. And you're right. The Shiak is. Do you know, guys, what the Shiak? This is a language that people created here in New Brunswick, and it's a combination of English and French. So basically, you speak English and you throw in here and there French word, even though they're calling that speaking French and throwing English. But it's almost like 80% of English in that conversation. And it does make sense when you're so exposed to two languages that you're picking up the easier. So they're not going to say, for example, in French, you say voiture for a car. But car is such a smaller word, so je vais aller, I'm going to prendre ma voiture. That would be in French, I'm going to take my car. But they would say, je vais aller prendre mon car. So that's kind of like how they speak, even though probably it's more English in it. But no, that's not what I want to learn right now. So that's what it is. Christelle, yes, he's in a relationship, but I'm aware and wait. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I really enjoy your work and you. So who did I say? It's Jenny. And then Ikat, you're after. Jenny. Yeah, she's still there. It's like my soulmate kind of like, we kind of like have that connection here, I think, going. Jenny, yeah, it butchers the language. You know what, Andy, what always bothered me, like I'm in France, is like the country that has more tourism than any country in the world. And I think they have subtitles when they listen to French from Canada, either Quebec or especially Acadian French here. They cannot understand it. My French teacher cannot, she's like, what did they say? She just cannot even understand Acadian. And yet we have this ability to be another France for people to come and learn French. And no, you would not believe like what is happening with the French people here. They actually want to force you to learn French, and like nothing good comes out of it. I want to learn it because I love it. It's just such a beautiful language, right? So that's all. Ça sent bien, ma soeur. Lynn says like this is really kind of like resonating with me. It's son is like to ring good with my is it sir, is it sister or soul? French lips. French lips, yeah, it's like Spanglish. Frenchlings. Okay, Jenny, focus. Yeah, focus. Okay, so what do we have? We have the Lovers. A Nine of Pentacles. Again, the Death. This is like from the general reading, like it's coming out from everybody, right? So, Queen of Stoves, King of Vessels. You should guys Google Chiak, and you call it Shiak. Actually, that's where Andy lives. She lives in Shediac, which is kind of like a nickname of the city because this is really, really prominent over there. I live in Dieppe, which is the biggest French city outside of Quebec in Canada. Ooh, look at that, Jenny. So, do you have three major? You have four majors. Holy smoke. You're getting a big message, Jenny. And let me just try to think through it. So you have the king and queen. He's a fire. No, he's water and she's a fire. So it's a very steamy relationship, and I can see that with the devil. You may be a little bit stuck in like, are you dating somebody? Because the Lovers and the devil is like the same energy, right? So it's first to learn how to be nice in a relationship. I guess it's that innocence when we are children, and then you learn how to be, tricky. You learn how to have a little bit S&M games. You learn to add spice to it, but this can actually go further. This can go to being kind of freaky, and that's something that we really need to kind of like be careful with, right? The Death is like, again, kind of like figuring out what works, what doesn't work, which is really interesting because this suggests interaction in a relationship, and this suggests, like, you know what, I'm happy being alone. But like Nine of Pentacles can also suggest that, like, having such a great comfort in being alone, that you're really not opening yourself up to the opportunities that exist, and maybe sometimes even inventing things that you just don't move forward over here. So that's kind of like what it is, right? So Did we miss Chris? What is happening with Chris? We didn't see him, right, in a while. Hopefully, he's okay with all of that water over there. Sister, that's right. It is a sister. So, there is like some combination. Could be either people in your life or you participating. I don't know, like, what is your kind of like thing that is really happening. What do you mean, Christelle? Don't know what you're referring to. Okay, Abianto. So this is kind of like interesting combination. It's almost like you're feeling that there's like sometimes things are too much, and it looks like you in your life you take on a lots of things, and you are not afraid of carrying the weight and doing the stuff, and you also know how to balance things and how to do things for yourself, even if you go to extremes, and this is going in one extreme and this is going in another extreme, right? And this is like sometimes talking about a codependency, that you fall prey to people who are really sexual, but then it's really hard to get out because you almost like you're drawn into kind of like that energy of some sort. But this is also telling me that should you snap out of it, you have ability to do that, and then like you go back to the basis. It's really interesting. They also connect that King of Vessels, and this is something who you want. You actually do want somebody who is steady. This is not one of those guys like, King of Wands. King of Wands is really sexy. He has all these muscles on him, kind of like he wants to be admired for his physicality. Same as actually with Pentacles. Even though with Pentacles they also have money and they want to be respected for their money. King of Vessels is kind of like a quiet type. He is the guy who is going to be there for you. He's going to hold your hair when you puke, right? He's not going to shy away from mascara running all over the place, or you're looking old or without makeup. That's the guy who is really, really consistent, but he's not flashy. He's not the first choice, right? And that's kind of like some quiet confidence that is really happening. The Hangman, I think, is suggesting to you to try to see things from somebody else's perspective, as that is really important to kind of like really look at that, and that is really, really important, right? That is really, really happening over here. So lots of messages, and really you're not going to have lots of options. You will feel that one day is all good, another day is like a bloody mess, because these are the opposites here that are happening. You just simply need to go through certain things in order to kind of balance out and find your sweet spot over here. So that's why it is. I think it's only ECAT that is left. We had a new lady, but I don't know if she's still here or she left us. So if anybody who didn't get their thing, please lift your hand. We are doing ECAT. ECAT, you're Aquarius, aren't you? If I remember. I don't know what is your ascendant. So let's do ECAT. Jenny said, I've been with someone for a while. We haven't labeled us yet. Best friends sleep together. So that's what I see the devil. Devil is like, it's not, everything is not sitting there, but lovers, that sometimes you feel it is. So, it looks like he needs to feel, that he is that rock in your life, but you will be actually wearing pants in that relationship, I think, right? So, oh, Kelsey, that's it. Kelsey is here. Thanks for speaking up. Whoops. Oopsie, we would not forget you, trust me. So that's my king. Oh my gosh, that's so lovely. ECAT, let's see. Look, you guys getting real readings today. Queen of Pentacles, that's probably you. So what is this? We have the Hierophant. And these guys wanted to come out. We have a Queen of Stoves, and we have a Four of Vessels. I don't like Four of Vessels. I don't like Four of Cups too much, because it shows... Oh, did something else flicked? No. Let's see. Oh, your Leo Sun Rising and Virgo Moon. Okay. Ooh, we have the Karma card over here. And let me get one more. This is a nice spread. It's just like it was instinctual doing it, but I think it works. It's almost like a little bit of a honeycomb, and I feel there is like a unity of these cards. So let me see over here, ECAT. I think this is you, this Queen of Pentacles. I don't know to who I was talking. This is like somebody who is really resourceful, somebody who makes the best out of any situation, who is actually presenting themselves really well. You're really, but we have two queens. Either you have different faces, that one is like for the public and one is for the private. And could you, I think that more or less you are this in private, because that would be that Leo over here, the Queen of Wands, right? The Hierophant really talks about you're trying to do the things right as much as possible. But look at him, he's linking to this Five of Swords, and Five of Swords in this case. So just think about it, that he is running all the fives, right? So, and there are different fives, are good and bad. So this one, Five of Swords, he's winning at any cost. He just doesn't care about their emotions. So does it mean that it was just enough, it was enough, and I just cannot take this anymore? Or why is he doing that? That he just has absolutely no empathy whatsoever for them. So the Hierophant tells us this could be possibly because things went too far. Things just at this stage cannot be negotiated and looked upon, or they deserve that almost like to some kind of like extent, because right, eye for an eye kind of like thing. But be careful with this, because sometimes this generates a really kind of like imbalance, not so much karma, even though you have the karma card, but imbalance. And there is like also Four of Vessels that makes you feel at times a little bit feeling void or feeling empty, kind of like always wishing things that maybe are not there, which makes you unhappy, instead of focusing on the bounty that you have and kind of like focusing in a direction, which is actually really important. This is really important to also for you to know that whatever it was, there was like some kind of like cycle, and you are working toward the end of this cycle. Look at this. We have the fives, 4, 5, and then we have a 9, and this is like a beginning. So I'm seeing this entire cycle talking to you about that certain things cannot continue. There may be people who just contributed to your unhappiness, and maybe they're like, maybe you have people who are, let's say, breaking the agreements, not showing up on dates, or finding excuses all the time, and you have been steady with them, and that's kind of like at some point you're trying to figure out how to resolve this, how to move forward. You are still fighting, you still want to win a situation, and you will win. That's that combination of doing the right things, like Lionheart, as well as knowing how to do it. So as I said before, sword has two sides. So he has the swords, right? But one side is like to clear your environment and figure out what doesn't work, cut it out. But also need to figure out inside of yourself things that do not work anymore. So that goes well. I'm glad to see that, Madame. So, and Kelsey, is there anybody else? Do you guys have anybody else who is present? We have 12 people. Did everybody got their cards? If you didn't, you need to drop something, and so we know you're there, and I can forward to your energy. But we are going now. Kelsey, you have Ace of Wands, which is interesting. We have the Tower, Kelsey. Somebody had to get a tower. There is something you're doing that doesn't want you to do for some reason. Oh my goodness. Kelsey, are you involved with somebody? So look at that. Page of Pentacles and King of Pentacles and 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, 10 of Swords, and Ace of Wands. So the wands are here. You have the Tower, which is Mars. It's Scorpio is now connecting with Mars now that the Pluto is no longer the planet. So this is kind of like highly scorpionic energy, and also lots of kind of like fire happening at the same time. So 6 of Pentacles landed in the middle. So he has the scale. He is giving something. I am wondering if there is like something going on in your life, that there is not enough give and take, that there is like not enough, that you maybe are giving everything and somebody else is taking something. Maybe there's like somebody from the past, because the Ace of Wands can indicate that. If there is not a person from the past, because look at this, we also have this motive of this castle over here. This is like a rebuild card generally. But if it's not particular person, the person from the past, then this card really talks about something that has been going on, something that we haven't resolved, and now we have to attack it again, right? That's very important. And that's why the Tower is showing up. The Tower shows up when you just don't learn the lesson. Like Death card, like which is the 13 situation, this is 16, goes, okay, you need to cut it off, time to kind of like snap it, and we can move forward, regrow. And you still don't learn it, so then now you go to 14 and say, okay, well, let's try to see if this works your way. And 15, yeah, it's going to work your way, like the devil is trying to kind of lure into that. And then it just doesn't work and doesn't work and doesn't work. And then the Tower happens and said, you know what? You're going to collapse everything and start all over. You have to rebuild. And you're rebuilding it in a good way. You're kind of like setting up good foundations. Page of Pentacles is being studious. It's being slow and steady wins the race, but it's also somebody who is very studious. And look, it's working toward this King of Pentacles. So that could also indicate a father and a son, or father and a child. Page is not having a gender, right? Maybe you're dealing with somebody who has obligations. Maybe you're feeling that you're not getting enough attention as you should be getting. At times, maybe you feel very wounded, feel that, you know, like, I mean, you just cannot, you're collapsing. And I feel that at times you can become very fatalistic and become all or nothing, which shows. But overall, you kind of like dust yourself up and put yourself up and prop yourself up and start planning for the future. What is really important for you to know is that you have to keep an eye on the goal. And that's kind of like this ultimate message is for you. You see, he's holding this little ball over here in his hand. So just think about it. You can buy a literal ball for you and meditate holding this ball and just like putting in this ball everything you want to have in the future and holding that energy and keep being focused on that energy. But if you're putting negative thoughts in this ball, then there is like this energy collapse that you really need to be careful about it, right? So there is going to be something needed for you to really collapse. I think there are some old methods, old people, or all approaches that cannot work anymore. You need to go in the new. You need to go slow and steady, and you need to know that yes, you need to give, but you also need to receive. If it's only one-way street, it's not going to work, and cut it off before it's too late. That's kind of like would be what it is. So you're in a very happy long-term relationship. I have a lot on my mind work-wise. So that's the relationship, King of Pentacles, and I guess maybe this is could be a child or something. And I don't know if this is like work-wise. Are you feeling that there's a repetition of issues? This is somebody who is very flammable at work. There is like not enough. Maybe you're carrying somebody else's weight. As I said, it can be just looking like a completely separated things. But you're landing on your feet. You are making a plan. You are kind of pushing it forward. But it's going to be a little bit of, you know, somebody hitting you at the kneecap and feeling kind of like a little bit deflated at times. But it looks like then this is your relationship. And King of Pentacles is like the strong person who is there for you, who can actually even give you a great advice. But there is like something you are doing very wrong. So don't be very surprised if you have a shocking moment. Somebody does something very unsavory that all of a sudden now you have to feel defensive and deal with that. Better to be prepared, right, than not to be prepared. That's kind of like what it is. Kelsey, slow and steady is very hard, right, for all of us, but that's kind of like almost like assurance that things will work out because of the reason. That's kind of how it is. So, guys, that's what it is for today. The next time I'm going to start, as I put it in my pinned thing, I'm going to start with March already. Because of this project, I'll be working lots of hours during the week, so I just want to have the energy. So we're going to do the first half on the 4th and the second half on the 11th. And on the 18th, I don't know, do you guys have that long weekend in the US as well? So the on 18 I'm taking off. So Kelsey said I'm self-employed, so just a roller coaster. I'm tired of riding. Yeah, it really sucks. So be careful. And then tower and self-employment. I wonder if that's what it is. It's kind of like burning you down, and there's like something still telling you that you need to put things on the better ground, right? Just in terms of well-being and health, the tower is kind of like suggesting sudden change. Maybe you're an accident prone person, or maybe you would come up with some kind of like sudden illness that is pressing you down. So be very careful with anything that can be overdosed. Absolutely big careful. I think it's very important. And you need to be able to be flexible to change as well, because like sometimes that reading shows that you can be a little bit stubborn, kind of a thing, but nothing really serious, kind of a thing. What else? As far as personalities, when the tower goes, is somebody who likes to shake things up, right? So maybe you have a client and you have an agreement, and then you deliver, and then they say, well, that's not what they wanted, and you feel like you have to start all over again without them paying for the additional work. And that's kind of like stuff that is maybe talking about like ruffling somebody's feathers. They are maybe ruffling yours, and being a little bit chaotic and volatile. So that is a suggestion. So there you go. That's going to be the fan appreciation day, I guess. I always like to do something for you guys as well. So hopefully you guys are all going to have also a beautiful weekend. Hopefully we're going to have the rest of the snow melt. And I will see you all next Saturday. I love you. And please leave your thumbs up and thumbs down if you like it up, if you don't like it down. Either way, I know where you stand, and I will see you. Thanks, Andy. I love this kind of like moments as well, where I don't have to run through agenda. We can just do the freestyle, so we can do it in the future as well. Please don't forget checking your dailies. I usually release them 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that way you have enough time to look at them throughout the day and just see them for the next. I have done them all the way now to Tuesday, and then usually on Tuesday I record for the next week. So there you go. Kelsey says I can be stubborn. I'm always worried about clients pulling the rug out of under me. That's kind of like was my thing as well. I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah, guys, feel free also. You can reach out to me via email. Yesterday I had somebody reaching out to me asking for advice with the cats. She said, I have this cat. I want to adopt him. It was like very sweet and very adorable. So wish you all the best, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and even better week. Check the dailies, and I will see you on next Saturday. Wishing you all the best. I love you, and sending you really, really warm and good vibes. All the best.